Hi, Year 4. Welcome to lesson 3 and 4 this week and the end of our Beowulf story. So a couple of days ago, we was hearing about Wiglaf and Beowulf. So Wiglaf is Beowulf's cousin, and they were fighting the dragon. And then sadly, Beowulf dies, and there's a picture of Wiglaf cradling Beowulf in his arms. So just got a little page and a little bit to read today for the end of our book, and we've read the whole book together. So for a while Wiglaf sat beside the body of his king, thinking of time past and time to come. He did not hear his cowardly companions until there were sighs at his shoulder and sorrowful looks and cringing words. 10 oath breakers, said Wiglaf coldly. Where did you come from? Where did you slink up from? Wiglaf, when men hear about you, they'll condemn you to exile, far from your families, far from your own land. You've forfeited forever the happiness of home. Wiglaf would have nothing of their protests and excuses. I tell you, death would be better than your disgrace. And then the young warrior told the slave to hurry down to the stronghold and give the news of Beowulf's death to the waiting warriors. Later that day, a great crowd of Geats set out for Eagle Ness. They mourned over the body of the old king, and they marvelled at the loathsome dragon, its scales burnished orange and brown and green, its coils and folded wings, and its forked tongue. One man measured it 50 paces from head to tail. They pushed that serpent over the precipice, and they gave him to the dark waves far beneath the heaving waters. Then, led by Wiglaf, the Geats swarmed into the dragon's cave, and they reaped the gold harvest, goblets and vessels of solid gold, precious swords, and carried it back with Beowulf's body to the scorched stronghold. The Swedes, said Wiglaf, and the Frisians and the Franks have been waiting for this, the day when our Lord laid aside laughter, festivity and happiness. The young warrior was weary in spirit and body. Soon enough our hands will hold many a spear chill with dawn cold. The dark raven will tell the eagle of the feast when, with the wolf, it laid bare the bones of corpses. In the morning, every man carried one faggot. That's like stuff that you can burn, like you can see here, all of the wood here that they can set fire to. So it's one like bundle of wood, and sticks and things. In the morning, every man carried one faggot up to Whale Ness, and there the Geats built a funeral pyre. They hung round with helmets and shields and shining mail. Then they brought Beowulf's body from the stronghold on a wagon, and they placed it on the top of the pyre. Farewell to our king, Wiglaf called out over the sound of weeping, the voices of wind and fire, who often braved the iron-tipped arrow shower, the man who killed a monster and his monstrous mother, dragon slayer. The Geats all mourned the death of their king. A maiden sang a dirge dark with dread of days to come, and a man with one gleaming eye, I think he's the man that we met at the start of the story, walked amongst them saying, "It is finished. Now it is finished, and you finished it." The dark wood smoke soared over the fire, and Beowulf's body became ash, consumed to its core. Sky swallowed the plume. It took the Geats 10 days to build Beowulf's barrow, and I'm going to show you a picture of a barrow in a minute, but it's like a very sort of like a hill, a rounded hill. It's almost like instead of having a tombstone for him, they would build a big barrow on the top of a hill to show where somebody important, like a lord or a king, was buried. It took the Geats 10 days to build Beowulf's barrow, a great beacon like a lighthouse, known throughout the North world. At its heart lay Beowulf's ashes, and in his honour the Geats buried rings and brooches and cups and salvers in that barrow, all the gold that Beowulf had gained from the dragon. They bequeathed every piece of shining gold to the earth, and there it still remains, untouched by men, of no more use than it was before. Then 12 warriors rode around the barrow, grave guardians and brave Geats. They chanted a death song. They talked as men should about their dead and living king. Round and round, they praised his daring deeds. Warm words for a breathing name, round. They said that of all kings on earth, he was the kindest, the most gentle, and the most just to his people. That's the end of our book. So, next week, you're going to be retelling the story of Beowulf, and might even do it over the next 2 weeks, really, up till the end of the term, before the summer holidays. And I'm going to ask you to watch a few little retellings of Beowulf that I've found on YouTube. But to finish off our Beowulf for this week, I've got 2 lessons I'm going to go through now for Wednesday and Thursday. So this lesson is more of an arty lesson, which is nice. And here's a picture here of a barrow, which I talked about or read to you about a barrow. And this is all made up of sort of stones and boulders, and you can find them in this country, old Anglo-Saxon barrows. They're sometimes long or round, and if you see underneath here it says a barrow is a burial mound that contains the remains of people who have died, which can either be long or round. So last week in your topic work, hopefully you did a bit of work on Sutton Hoo, which is similar to this, but it had been buried for a long time. And in Sutton Hoo, they also found all of the treasure. And at the end of the Beowulf story, just then we heard that all of the treasure that was found in the dragon's cave, the dragon's hoard of treasure, was all buried along with Beowulf. So your task today is to draw a picture either of the barrow, and you could do a little bit of writing describing that Beowulf was buried with all of his treasure, or you could do it more of the funeral pyre, and then underneath it some little descriptions about the funeral and the fact that they then made a barrow, a bit like having a massive gravestone in a way, I suppose. A faggot, which is one of the things that I said at the end there, was a bundle of sticks bound together to make fuel to burn. Just a big pile of kindling in a way would be a faggot as well, I suppose. Okay, so that's today. And then tomorrow's lesson, which will be Thursday hopefully for most of you, lesson 4 of Beowulf this week, is to write a book review. And that's there's a template of a book review like this one here saved on the blog, or you could do your own, and there's lots of book reviews that you'll be able to find on Google as well. So it's a book review of Beowulf, but our Beowulf is by Kevin Crossley Holland, the main Beowulf one that I read to you, because different authors tell the story slightly differently the story of Beowulf is always done slightly differently depending on who's telling the story. So you could print this one up, and it's got the plot, which is the main things that happen, and the main characters, your opinion about different things, and whether you'd recommend it or not. And then that is the end of our main Beowulf work, really. We've finished the book. We will do a little bit more about it next week and the week after, but we've done the main bulk of the work. I hope you've managed to keep up with it all over the last few weeks. Well done if you have. I hope you've really enjoyed it. Okay, have a lovely weekend, Year 4, and I'll hopefully see you soon. Bye-bye.